To get started making my rabbit topiary, I'm going to start with this guy here. This was a threshold item from Target. It's indoor-outdoor. And I have some Spanish moss from Michael's, a nice barbecue skewer that I'll be using to kind of push the moss and dirt around when I plant. I have some wire cutters, and then a nice variegated ivy because I want to be able to see it on my front porch, which is kind of shady. So the first thing that I'm going to do with this rabbit is underneath here, kind of in a spot where I won't see that I've cut it, I'm going to cut open some of the wire so that I can start shoving the moss throughout the rabbit. Okay, now I have a fairly decent size hole that I can start shoving things in, and I'm just going to take the moss and try to get this top and bottom part filled with moss, and I will then go through and try to put some dirt in here. Before I go ahead and start putting in the potting soil, I'm going to kind of spray the moss that's already in here. That's going to help the soil sort of stay in place, and it will start to sort of expand the moss that I put in here, which will help hold it in place a little bit better. This is kind of messy, but I think it will look cool in the end. Okay, so now my rabbit is pretty much as full as I can get him. So I'm going to give it another spray, and I'll probably spray it some more later, but that way I can see what it's like. And then I'm going to start to close up the wires that I cut earlier. I like how full the rabbit is now, and I will start taking the ivy I have here. I got this one from Home Depot, and I picked it, like I said earlier, I like the variegated ivy because I thought that this yellowy, creamy color would be a lot easier to see from the street on my porch that's pretty shaded. And I got more than I'm gonna need, and the reason for that is because I also will use the leftover ivy in and around some other plants that I have on my front porch. So basically what I'm going to do now is take out some sections of the ivy, and like I said, I don't want the whole thing. And it may be kind of twisted around each other, but that's okay. So I have here one section, and basically what I'm going to do, this is where this is going to come in real handy, is I'm going to figure out kind of where I want to plant it and think about how I'm going to pin the ivy down onto the rabbit and where I'm going to put it. But I do know I want a pretty good section coming out of the back area, so I'm just going to kind of poke here. And I actually think that I'm going to cut just a little bit of the wire so that I can get the ivy in. And I won't see the cuts, so I'm not real worried about that either. I won't see the cut because the ivy will be growing around here and fill it in. So I'm going to carefully, without breaking my roots as much as possible, poke it down in to the soil that I have there. Carefully close up my wire. I went ahead and I cut some floral wire into about 2-inch pieces, and this way I can just sort of start to tack the ivy down. And it should start, like the areas that you tack down should start to take root if you water it fairly decently. And then as it takes root, it'll be a little bit more established into your topiary, and the tacking won't be as important. But at first, you're going to need to tack it down a little bit. And here is my finished rabbit. He's really fun. As he grows, the ivy grows on him, I will either continue to tack it down or snip it depending on the look that I want. I like to see a little bit more of the frame so I know it's actually a rabbit and not just a big ball of ivy. To water it, I will either spray it with a spray bottle or just dunk it into a bucket of water depending on how much watering he needs. But he's really fun, and I think he'll be a cute addition to my spring front porch.